Welcome everybody to another one of our SBDC interviews. I'm Leanne Presley and I'm here today with Cammeron Larson. He is the president of the Salida branch of Collegiate Peaks Bank here in Salida, Colorado. And I wanted to chat with Cam today just about the PPP process. But first let's welcome to our show, Cammeron Larson.
Hi, Leanne. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Cam, I'm excited to have you too. You and I have worked together personally, so I was really looking forward to this interview and finding out a little bit more about how your experience went with the PPP loan. And for folks that might not know, it's the Paycheck Protection Program. And we are recording this in early June, and there's a lot happening right now with the PPP loans. But first, let's start off by sharing with our viewers a little bit about your role. How long have you been at Collegiate Peaks Bank?
It's right at 11 years. I've been with the bank and I've been the president for almost 4 years now.
Wow. Okay. And how many customers did you support in Chaffee County with your loan processing program?
We've done a little over 120 individual loans in Chaffee County. And that's about a little over $7 million. The fun thing also is as a bank, as Collegiate Peaks Bank, we've done over 675 loans and a little over $103 million as a bank. And that's largely supported by our loan operations department, which is based largely out of Salida. So a pretty impressive number that we pulled off.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an impressive number. And I'm sure a lot of businesses are going to be better off because of the support. So Cam, I'm sure that you have maybe seen a couple of cases, couple of customers that stood out to you as being really special in terms of their story or how you helped them. Give us that, recount for us what that story is.
Sure. There's one that stands out. When the program really first started, I had a customer call, and he's a seasonal business with quite a few employees, and he was pretty concerned about what this really meant to his employees and their paychecks. And he was concerned with some of the press going on with the PPP program, whether he'd be successful getting those funds. So we jumped in with he and all of our customers and got to work and had a lot of good conversations with him sometimes on a Sunday or late evenings. And we got it done. And when I called him with loan approval, the excitement in his voice was just electrifying. It was just contagious. And he was so excited to share with his employees that he had secured this funding, and he was going to call them and let them know that the next 2 months' paycheck wasn't an uncertainty, especially with unemployment the way it was at that time as well. And that energized me, and it was really fun to hear because at that point we were pulling about 60 to 70-hour weeks, just trying to get these done, and it energized me, and I shared it with the staff, and it made us realize why we're doing this. And it wasn't just to help our businesses, which is important, but it's our friends and neighbors too. It secured a paycheck for that period of time. And that just really strengthened the whole effort and kept us going. And there were a lot of really fun stories like that. And we would keep sharing them within the staff as we were going through that. And it really brought it home and helped us understand why we were doing this and why it was important. And that made it all worth it and more.
Yeah, for sure. Those small wins can make such a big difference. I know you mentioned you were doing 60, 70-hour weeks. The bankers that I talked to were all on that same grind because there was so much unknown also, right, with the loans. We didn't know how long the money would last. So it was sort of this race to get as many applications in as possible. So what other challenges did you have, Cam, during the loan application process?
The uncertainty and the hurry was the big thing, and trying to invent a process that didn't even exist yet. But we had a good team effort, and we've got a lot of standings, a big SBA department behind us, so we were able to figure that out and get it ready. But I think for everybody, the rules evolved as the program started, so everybody was trying at the same time but didn't know exactly what we were doing. And I think it'll still be that way to a certain degree with the forgiveness. But in the end, we're all working together and just trying to figure it out together. And that worked out as a good solution to get them done, and I think that'll work out as a good solution to get them forgiven and go on down the road.
Right, for sure. As we're recording this in early June, there is, like you said, a lot of evolution to the PPP program. And right now, we just had legislation passed yesterday that adds more flexibility to the forgiveness portion of the loan. Can you share a little bit with our listeners about what that is?
Yeah, we've seen a lot. A lot of it was rumor until it got passed. A lot of it's still to finally be determined, kind of like when the loan program rolled out. They passed legislation, but it's really up to the SBA to get a hold of that legislation and give us the final rules. But I think a lot of the benefit will be some of the periods of time to spend the money were burdensome, and I'm hoping that that'll be adjusted and pushed out and help a lot of folks. I think the other part of it was actually keeping the number of staff on hand that were kind of required to meet certain requirements. There were some challenges different businesses had for different reasons, and I'm really hoping that they address that because we've seen it firsthand for a lot of our local businesses. These rules were very generalized, and when you started applying specific cases to them, there were a lot of exceptions that probably weren't thought of. So we're waiting on the last finalization of the forgiveness application, but I'm really hoping that in the end, a lot of those changes made will help forgiveness be a lot easier for a lot of folks.
Right. I know I was also a recipient of the PPP, and when I got that forgiveness application, I mean, my eyes just glazed over. I know it was such a challenging document, and I'm certainly going to need help filling it out. So I want to just mention to folks out there, if they are feeling like they are challenged with that form, they can contact the SBDC office. We're here in Chaffee County, and they can work with a counselor that will walk them through that, or they can contact someone like you, the banker, if they need some more assistance in walking through that. So Cam, I know that Collegiate Peaks Bank does a lot for the community. You're the president of the bank in Salida. Can you tell us a little bit about how Collegiate Peaks Bank supports the community in other ways besides just pulling 60-hour work weeks to help the small business owners?
Absolutely, yeah. We've always been happy and proud to support organizations with donations and scholarship requests and sponsorships. We understand now that even if an event is occurring, that the support for those type of things is as important now than it ever has been. So it's certainly our intention to keep up that level of support, regardless of whether certain events or fundraisers are ongoing, and we think that's really important. Along with that, our employees are encouraged and allowed to volunteer hours on boards of nonprofits and other things. We've got a lot of involvement in that, and we've got programs to encourage that on an ongoing basis. There's a laundry list of organizations that our employees are part of, but it goes from low-income housing to youth support to victims of violence and education. It just kind of goes on and on. We also have free financial education resources on our website available for all ages. They're free classes, and they're a really good resource. If you go to collegiatepeaksbank.com, you'll find a lot of things from financial literacy to mortgage loans to things for kids. It's a really good free resource that's out there for anybody, customers or not. We also have a really neat program that we started that for every new account that's opened, our customer will be able to choose a nonprofit from a list that we have, and we'll donate $20 to that nonprofit. And then at the end of each quarter, we tally those up and write checks to those nonprofits, but another way we can give back. And last, I think we just act as a trusted advisor and partner. Whether we're making you a loan or doing a deposit, we've got 20 and 30-year customers or more, and we've advised those people throughout the years as their bankers of just sound financial decisions, and we're happy to do that. The door is always open, and that's really a true statement. And we've had a lot of customers that hopefully are a lot better off, especially in this environment, that they've had some sound financial decisions made and gets them through tough times like this.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely in an era of more questions than answers. So having a local banker that you can pick up the phone and ask that question, I think is just one more thing to help reduce all the stress that we're experiencing in this environment. So thank you for offering that. So Cam, I know that this COVID-19 pandemic is more of a marathon than a sprint. What are some of the things that you're doing at the bank for the next phase, sort of preparing your bank customers for the future and what's to come?
That's a good question. And I think it really boils down to communication. Every situation is going to be different. And like everybody from our own viewpoint, we're trying to figure out what it looks like going forward. And there's a lot of uncertainty. But, communication's key, whether people are having hardships or questions or need, loan payment deferrals, or maybe just ways to move forward. Communication's key because it's very situation dependent, but the ongoing communication back and forth and creative problem solving is what's going to get everybody through this, and sharing information back and forth. We get plenty of information from, if it's the PPP loans or market trends or whatever, and we're certainly hungry to get that information from other sources in the community so that we can all work together and figure out what happens next. I think we've got some headwinds, but there's so much strength in the community from so many different ways that I'm really encouraged by how we're going to make it through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your part in that and your role at the bank. For folks that might not know, can you share information about how to find the bank? Give us the address, and you mentioned the website. Maybe repeat that again so that they can get in touch.
Absolutely. Yep. So we're on the corner of Holman Avenue and Highway 50, right across from the swimming pool. You can stop in anytime. We've got normal business hours. Lobby's open 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and the drive-up's open longer hours than that. CollegiatePeaksBank.com, Peaks with an S, bank singular, .com is our website. We've got a lot of good stuff on there. And the local branch, the phone number is 719-539-1308. We've got a branch in Buena Vista that's located just off of Main Street there, and some branches in Denver. You can obviously take a look on our website or call us, and we can give you information on all of that.
All right, sounds good. Well, Cammeron Larson, thank you so much for your time today and everything you do for our community.
Thanks, Leanne. It was a real pleasure.